Hi, my name is Mary Harry and I'm from Newton-Wellesley Cardiac Rehab, and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are making granola. This recipe is sweet, it's easy to make, it uses whole grains, it's high in fiber, and it does not have a lot of added sugar in it. When we buy granolas in the grocery store, it gets a little tricky because they have lots of added sugar in them. In fact, a serving of a granola in the grocery store could have anywhere from 15 to 20 grams of added sugar in it. How many teaspoons is that? Just remember to figure out how many teaspoons is in a product, divide the added sugar divided by 4, and you find out how many teaspoons of sugar. So if it has 16 grams of added sugar in it, divide it by 4, and you end up knowing that that cereal has 4 teaspoons of added sugar per serving. So you can see that's quite a bit for a small serving, which is usually about a quarter cup to a third in terms of added sugar. When you're purchasing a cereal, you want to stay to 5 grams or more of fiber and 5 grams or less of added sugar. That helps us to stay to our goal of trying to stay between 25 and 30 grams or less of added sugar across the day. So again, this recipe addresses all those issues. It's made with old-fashioned oats, and it's also made with quinoa, both which are whole grains and provide dietary fiber. In terms of the oatmeal, please try to use the old-fashioned oats in the recipe because, again, we're going to be toasting them so they taste best. But also, old-fashioned oats are the least processed form of a flake of oatmeal. So if you buy 1-minute oats or if you're buying packaged oatmeal, the food industry has already processed it a little bit, so it doesn't take as long to cook. So we want to try to find those grains that the food industry hasn't processed very much. So it'd be like old-fashioned oats would be a great product to try to use, or steel-cut oats. Again, if you're in a pinch and use the 1-minute oats, you're still getting some fiber, but again, the goal is to try to use the products that are least processed. In terms of quinoa, this is another whole grain that you can try to sneak into your life because it's also a good source of protein. In fact, it's a complete protein. So quinoa is high in fiber. And again, it's one of those grains that people are a little bit hesitant to use. So in this recipe, it gets toasted, so we're bringing some natural flavors out. So give it a try. The other thing I like about this recipe is it shows us how easy it is to reduce added sugar in recipes. This recipe originally called for 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, and I cut it back to a half a tablespoon. There is a range on the recipe that says a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. Again, it's about how sweet you want something. But anyways, that was really easy to reduce sugar in this type of recipe because all it's doing is coating the granola and giving a little bit of sweetness. In terms of reducing the added sugar from 3 tablespoons to a half a tablespoon or 1 tablespoon, we cut out on average about 24 grams of added sugar out of the total recipe. If you divide that by 6, which is the servings per recipe, we're saving 4 grams of added sugar per serving. So again, it really does add up in terms of recipe modification, taking sugar out of some of your favorite recipes. If you're going to be modifying something like a pumpkin bread, you can't do it as drastically, but starting by reducing about 1/3 of added sugar in a recipe can be very beneficial in terms of trying to keep some of the recipes that you love in your life. So anyways, let's get started making our granola.